welcome. This will be my thoughts on M.O.D.O.K. Season 1, Episode 4, Is Saturday B for the Boys. The episode is rated TVMA, so this video B, there will be spoilers for the episodes of the show leading up to and including this one, possibly the MCU leading up to when the show first aired. Yes, I'm aware that it is not technical in continuity with the rest of the MCU. And yeah, another episode I absolutely loved. Wait, did I already say? Right, I forget if... My freaking short-term memory. Anyway, the episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be. Yeah, I think I will dive directly into... So yeah, this thing of M.O.D.O.K. wants to... Yeah, you know, that's the thing with having this, supercomputer brain. He's like, oh, I'm gonna, I'll watch The Wire. He watches it in just a few seconds, apparently, because that's, yeah, he perceives the world, seconds are like hours to him. And the thing about the, let's see, yeah, the super adaptoid, being like, okay, we could do this, we could do that, and okay, just turn into a TV. And he doesn't want to hang out with him, and super adaptoid is like, well, what will I do? Bubbles? Which, fair. Bubbles are cool. Frickin' bubbles! And I think so he tries to go to the, what do they call it? The Soho lair. So yeah, like a fancy place, but with a villain theme. And yeah, it was genuinely cool. I gotta admit, I did not recognize the third, but it was very cool seeing, Mr. Sinister and Leader, make fun of M.O.D.O.K. And let's see. Yeah, the thing, your small potatoes. But I just ate. I'm, objectively speaking, full of huge potatoes. For that kindness, you may have a potato. I started for you. And I think that was around the time when we see the Jody/Lewis part. Great to hear Lewis's what he thinks his name stands for, and him using the word syphilitic because he thinks it's beautiful, which is a habit that some young people get into, which is sometimes very unfortunate. But the yeah, and you have the edgy joke of like, oh, nut allergies are first is I think it's Jody who says it's trendy, and then later Lewis says it makes him complex. And let's see. I appreciate the show's balance between, like that feels like a bit of a conservative talking point kind of thing, but then there are also more like empathetic kinds of things. And I think that might just about... So the following has absolutely no relevance to this particular episode, but I thought it was a really solid video. Princess Weeks talking about romantasy. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, that's when the the thing about, Lewis still wants to go to the daycare, and he's barred because last time he ate all the Play-Doh. Wow. Yeah, I don't think he's the best at making decisions sometimes. And it goes to the teen zone, and his guess at what teen themed calzone. Wow. he continues to be one of my favorites. Like him and Patton Oswalt are my favorite two cast members so far. Ben Schwartz, I mean, and yes, yeah, and you know, because it's the teen zone, there's a sullen goth, or is it emo? I can never tell. You know, and she's, yeah, she's gonna listen to music to drown him out, and he takes that as encouragement. So he goes even closer to her than presumably he would have otherwise, and shouts in her ears like, "Holy crap!" See, that feels like, you know, the kind of edgy joke a left winger would make. You know, I'm detecting notes of Dead Domain, a dash of Kalen Conrad. You know, it's this thing about like how, yeah, some cishet guys just will not take a hint. And I think that brings us back to the... So yeah, M.O.D.O.K went to the bar with no name as directed. Wasn't expecting a reference to, you know, the Dollars trilogy, but hey, I'm here for it. And yeah, you know, I will freely admit it's been so long, I did not really recognize any of the villains in there. But I do, like, I don't even know if that's from the comics, but was his name Angar, who has sonic powers and was the lead singer, or maybe just thinks he was, of a band that broke up 30 years ago and he can't let go of it. Like, at least some of that does feel like, I mean, there are, you know, I mean, just, yeah, in Marvel, Dazzler is a, you know, she's not a supervillain. Right now I forget if she's a hero or an anti-hero or what, but, you know, mutant, she's got sonic powers, and also is, at least some of the time, a famous singer. So, yeah. I did not hate her appearance in... Is that a spoiler? I'll just say she appeared in at least one X-Men, you know, Fox X-Men movie. And I like the actress that they got to play, and I thought they did a fine job on her character. Anyway, the let's see. Yeah, and so he, you know, he's trying to impress them, and they, at least some of the time, also don't think very highly of him. And the thing about, you know, is our milliner making fun of us? Your milliner? Ha! Fancy. Wait, you said milliner first. Yeah, so you'd say it. That's next level. That's a serious burn. I guess M.O.D.O.K was supposed to say, "What the fuck's a milliner?" And yeah, they almost immediately all start fighting, and then M.O.D.O.K is like, "Oh, I could use this," you know, for Captain America's shield. And it is a good detail. Like, even M.O.D.O.K does realize, yeah, I mean, they're just fucking with him. Like, even if he did bring them Captain America's shield, you know, the Soho layer people would not actually accept him. They're just asking him to do something that they think he'll fail at. And, you know, they'll think of something. I mean, hypothetically, if he brought Captain America's shield, maybe they'd beat him up and take it or something, you know. And I think, yeah, I do really, really enjoy the idea of leader not forming a complex plan, but just being a fucking asshole, you know. That's, yeah. And let's see, yeah, I thought it worked the way that we learn the troubles of each member. I guess they end up not having a name, but the villains who try to, you know, help M.O.D.O.K in this episode. And let's see, I think that might be around the time where we see, yeah, so Jodie meets, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name, but yeah, you know, and the thing, yeah, the, you know, murder bots, you know, ready, ah, yeah, okay, stand down, ah. And then Jodie is like, you know, "Are you M.O.D.O.K's secretary?" Secretary, you know, murder bots. Like, oh yeah, you know, are we killing or are we killing? What are we doing here? You know. And yeah, you know, that also this thing of like a woman who works really hard being referred to as a secretary. You know, I mean, she is objectively much better at all this stuff than M.O.D.O.K is. If she was in charge, AIM would not have been taken over by Grumble. And let's see, I think that brings us. Yeah, I love how they keep talking about Nightloaf. It's like, oh, it's gonna close soon. Well, then how is it all night? You know, yeah. This place is, you know, is this place even real? Oh, it's open now. I thought you said it was closed. Well, yeah, but it's a full moon, and they open for werewolf hours. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess if werewolves were just an established thing, and in the MCU they are, and Marvel they are, why wouldn't you have werewolf hours? Like, let's, and let's see, yeah, and so the thing about, you know, okay, 10 pins, you're gonna use your pins. Oh, I don't have them. I had to pawn them. 500, but you gave me 490. You know, you only gave me 490. That's not even a big. Yeah, and the let's see. I think that does bring us. Yeah, and the thing about like, okay, well, you know, I don't know. I guess maybe you could trade the chainsaw for, you know, or the saw blade. Yeah, whatever. Which is also like, you know, in a way he's doing it for Captain America's shield to get Zoho to like him, but at the same time, like, you could read it as, oh, he is trying to actually, you know, work with, you know, I mean, that's not nothing. He is very fond of his weaponry. And the way that the guy, he starts licking it, and he just keeps licking it, and eventually the tongue falls off, and then he starts cutting his fingers off, and then to threaten another guy, he cuts his own arm off. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, no wonder M.O.D.O.K wants to get out of there. Really, really weird. And the yeah, the thing about, you know, um, well, why would we do, you know, this heist? I will give you more money that you can, you know, money enough to buy anything you want. A pontoon boat each. No, that's too much money. A pontoon boat for every second person. Yes, responsibility. 10 pontoon boats. No, that's too many. Is this even real? This is like so fucking silly. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, then once they're in the pawn shop, they want matching jackets, and yeah, right. And also you know, they're all dyslexic, so the hats they got say different things, and it's all nonsense words, you know. And I think that brings, yeah. And so, you know, Armadillo sees the ring and tunnels to talk to his wife, and it's been 8 years and he didn't actually give her the ring. Like, Jesus Christ. And I'm afraid I forget what the werewolf's name was, or is he just a wolf person? But yeah, the yeah, his you know, hog is out the entire time, and they like blur it, which still, like, I don't know if that is like a joke. Can you not show that on TV, MA? Because it is this thing of like, I mean, this same episode has a guy cutting his tongue, fingers, and arm off. Like, how is a dick not, you know, it's not even erect, I don't think, because it's hanging down. I guess I don't know enough about that creature's anatomy to say for sure, but yeah. And to be clear, I don't, you know, I do not blame any. I have heard there are at least some women who find even a non-erect penis to, you know, come across as threatening if it's in a context where it's, you know, if they did not consent to. I appreciate that, but I do also think one of the jokes going on here is how, you know, anxious a lot of America is about, you know, the Puritans can't stand nudity. I think that might bring us to the... Yeah, so yeah, and M.O.D.O.K breaks up the fight instead of just saying, you know what, I'll find someone else to tunnel, or just giving up on the heist. And I like that, yeah, the guy has the door set up just so he can close it, so people are still seeing the dick. Just, yeah. And one of them is like, this was a great night. I got to see his famous hog. And I think, yeah, and the thing about, was it like none of them have a car except Tenpin, and it doesn't, who sleeps in it, but it doesn't run. And let's see, I think, yeah, and the going back to the high school, and I'll never see my name on, oh, because of dyslexia. And then she's like, I know what my name looks like. And then she describes it as a bunch of shapes instead of naming the letters. And I guess that pretty much gets it. Yeah, and he talks about how all of them have pain, and then accidentally admits that he was using this crew to impress the Soho layer people. Yeah, and it was also really funny, the Super Adaptoid. Yeah, he just immediately answers the phone, which is very desperate. And, you know, yeah, he doesn't, let's see. He's supposed to answer either bonjour or bonsoir, like, good day or good night. Wow. And I think, yeah, and so he does not give anyone cancer, but he does turn into a car. And he keeps playing, yeah, he's pretending like the radio is saying how cool he is, and like, oh, only hot chicks like Super Adaptoid. Oh yeah, totally hot, look like Super Adaptoid. They're really doing a fantastic job just making him the most fucking pathetic. Oh my god, they are like just a millimeter short of him joining ICE, like just bottom of the barrel. And I think, oh right, if you haven't already watched, there are several really excellent YouTube videos about Tim Pool's Defense of ICE. Let's see if I can recall. Edgier Than Thou and Brigitte Empire both did fantastic. Just goddamn Tim fucking Pool, man. Yeah, the so yeah, they do meet up at Nightloaf, and it's not night themed, even though there is a night. And it's the one from one of the Indiana Jones movies. You chose poorly. And let's see, I think, which I guess I gotta say that reference always reminds me of the epic rap battle, Indiana Jones versus Lara Croft. Quite good. Anyway, I think, yeah, and so he tries to buy them Nightloaf to, you know, bring them back on his side, and then he's like, okay, we'll change the heist. Yeah, and I love there's one of the guys who keeps saying it's a smash and grab. It's like, no, it's not. And the thing about, he really wants his big dream is making a grilled cheese place for angry boomers like himself. That does sound like a boomer dream. So once again, I'm not really fond of the. I think generational conflict should only take place when it's like necessary and constructive. I like, I try, like that dang dad I believe started to say okay capitalist instead of okay boomer. And over the course of it, M.O.D.O.K keeps trying to guess the name of it, and at the end gets the name, and then the guy dies, and yeah. That was genuinely like they let us sit with that for not many seconds, but still, they didn't immediately undercut it with a joke. And the thing about, will Rob Nightloaf be quiet, he can't, oh, well, he can't. He hears, I hear all. He heard me. He's killed 3 people, which, like, even before he finished the sentence, I'm like, shit, they should probably not mess with this, this is not the right move. And then the thing continues to say, since we got here, oh my fucking Christ. Like, have they been here for more than, like, minutes, maybe an hour or something? Because M.O.D.O.K just had to get, Jesus Christ. And, let's see. Oh, right, and the point made about how, she wasn't juicing, she's a mutant, and so they took away her trophies. And that, again, feels like a left-wing joke. That is kind of reminiscent of something like trans women, yeah, not being allowed in sports and being hated for it. It's just completely ridiculous. Like, how are you obsessed with that when the Epstein files have not been fully released, and so far there haven't really been consequences for the people in the Epstein files? Like, is this about protecting, people who have been sexually assaulted, even raped, or not? Like, are you just hating people who are not conforming to gender norms? Like, seriously. I think that does bring us to, yeah, and that actually, yeah, I appreciate it. They don't spend forever on it, but that is a bit of, it's a major theme in X-Men comics, mutants being discriminated against. And, we don't always see that with the quote-unquote evil mutants, the villain mutants. For a number of them, it's their, what's the word? It's the motivation for them being villains, but they don't necessarily really talk about what they experienced and how it hurt them. And here we have one that is very overt. Like, this is the kind of thing you might expect to hear from one of the X-Men in a Fox X-Men movie or the comic or such. And I think, let's see. Yeah, and also the part where they, the teens in the other car, and Angar, I think is his, I just got that. Anger. Wow. Anyway, he, uses his power to fuck with their car. And then they have a fucking crossbow, and, like, Jesus Christ, that's random. And Super Adaptoid being like, oh, I'm wounded. Right, now I remember what I've been forgetting. The, yeah, so the part where, Jodie and... I feel so bad, I don't remember her name. Okay, I'm just gonna real quick see if I can't find Monica. Right? I'm pretty sure it's Monica. The... Oh, did not real... Oh, yeah, that is her. What? Marion is, Whoopi Goldberg. Wow. The, oh, cool. Kevin Michael Richardson is Mr. Sinister. Anyway, yeah, yeah, Monica and Jodie get drunk and talk shit about M.O.D.O.K. And then, Jodie is talking about, like, well, in a way, she still wants some relationship with M.O.D.O.K. She wanted, and she says, I wanted to remove the video from the internet, or maybe neural virus everyone into forgetting the video exists. Something simple. And let's see. Yeah, let's talk about, so there's also the part where, yeah, the Monica makes him allergic, just like, because then he's not gonna do the payday bar challenge again, which is also just like, Jesus Christ, he's fucking, like, I'm reminded of that South Park episode that deals with, memes. Faith Healing, I think it's called, and not just because I watched it recently. Anyway, I think, does that bring us to the... Right, and also he's like, now I have a reason to carry an EpiPen rather than just carrying one. Jesus Christ. That is genuinely fucked up to be doing in real life. And I think that does get us to the... let's see. I really quite appreciate that Monica keeps bringing in different villains. You know, the other episode she had like mutant dog to yeah, and now the little kill murder bot things, the murder death kill things. All right, what does that get us? There's the part with the let's see. God damn. Yeah, so yeah, they fully give up on the shield, and they end up just, you know, sitting and talking. And right, also the part where, you know, M.O.D.O.K, it sounds like he's going to relate to Armadillo, but then he just claims, you know, yeah, I back up the orgasm truck every night. It's very brave of you to share. Right, and also the thing about, you know, the only thing M.O.D.O.K is good for is turning on a large hadron collider, and that's not a nickname for a vagina. And I think... But yeah, I appreciate this thing of like, yeah, you know, divorce can be really complicated and weird. I think, and yeah, you know, one of the things is, well, you've relied on your partner for so long, you know, can you just give them, yeah. I think maybe that's the... I did also really like M.O.D.O.K's, the individual guesses at what the grilled cheese place would be called. I feel like that might cover everything. But yeah, I really appreciated that, you know, at the start of the episode, M.O.D.O.K wants to do something to impress people who hate his guts and are never going to like him. And also later he's like, oh, I'm gonna smash their fucking faces with the Captain America shield, and then they'll like me. You know, it is like genuinely like, no, it doesn't. You know, there are a number of cases in real life where people get obsessed with trying to make people like, yeah, I've been there, trying to make someone like you that clearly it's never going to happen, and you just have to move on. It's much healthier. You know, I became a much happier person when I stopped trying to impress people who like that's one of the things. If you are trying to impress someone who doesn't yet like you, take a step back and actually think about, wait, is this someone whose approval I even really want? Is this someone who would just make me feel like shit if they did like me? There are a number of people out there who, like, if you really stop to think of it, you'd really rather just not have anything to do with them, or like do a witty retort when they insult you rather than them actually liking you. It can be worse to be liked than disliked, depending on who it is. And I think that might bring us to the... Yeah, you know, the younger M.O.D.O.K, M.O.D.O.K reappears and takes the Super Adaptoid, so he is becoming more dangerous. Super Adaptoid knows a lot about M.O.D.O.K, and, you know, the whole adapting thing can make him quite the, yeah. I think that might... Right, I like the thing about, you know, what's going on with this car? I'm not a car, I'm a super robot in a van. And yeah, everyone fucking hates Super Adaptoid. Can you make him stop talking, please? And, you know, and that is also, like, genuinely, he's more desperate than even M.O.D.O.K for approval, you know, and yeah, I really appreciate, you know, by the end of the episode, M.O.D.O.K genuinely does kind of like these people, and they had a fun night. They got experiences that they appreciated, so he didn't mean to, but he did do something good for someone who's, I mean, they're not good people, but they are more open to accepting him than the Soho people, which Soho people, which I also really appreciated. At first, they don't accept him either. He is kind of, there's no place where he fits 100% because he's too much of a failure to hang with the brains, but he's also, he has too high of an opinion of himself for a lot of this episode to relate to the bronze. So yeah, I think that might actually, let's see, does that get us to the, let's see, there's what's the next part? I think that does cover the episode. Really appreciate how much, like, Lewis continues to just be down for pretty much, like, it takes a lot for him to be genuinely upset. He can usually find a silver lining to pretty much any situation. And yeah, the fact that Monica does it before making sure with Jody that that's what she would, let alone Lou. But yeah, she gives him the allergy and then says, oh yeah, I can make him allergic to anything like oxygen. Yeah, I think that might not be the best idea in the world. And that's such a fun fucking, because, like, again, I love comic book media. I used to read comics. The thing with, oh, I can make this person allergic to oxygen, that's such a ridiculous, just, like, roundabout way to kill someone. I mean, yeah, torture and then kill someone. That does feel like there are comic books that would have that. I am reminded of that panel. I guess it's a spoiler. I do remember what those characters are called, but there's a infamous comic panel where the hero tells the villain, with that kind of technology, you could cure cancer. And the response from the villain is, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. It's so absurd. And let's see, because, like, making someone allergic to oxygen, I mean, I don't know. I feel like at that point, they're either going to be, like, dead, at which, within moments, at which point, like, I feel like a bullet is less complex. Like, you're gonna engineer, genetically engineer something to make them allergic to oxygen. Like, that's also, like, I mean, if you want them to choke, there's simpler ways of, you could do that with a fucking plastic bag. I'm not speaking from experience. And, like, alternatively, there's, I don't know, I guess they end up, it's disabled for the rest of their lives unless it's, fixed with other genetic engineering or something, which, again, like, if that's a fucked up thing to do to another person. So is murder, obviously. But, yeah, again, like, there's easier ways to do that. I think, I'm acknowledging Monica is a villain. She does evil shit. But also, because she's a comic book villain and one of the really smart ones, she overcomplicates things, is the joke. And I quite appreciated it. And yeah, I thought, I really appreciated that, when Monica is telling, when Jody is telling Monica, you know, you don't need to make him allergic to anything else. She does say exactly what I found myself saying when I was a child, reading and watching the Adventures of Charlie Brown. Peanuts is fine.